Okay, so today's painting is for July 4th, and I want to invite you to paint along with me. And today is going to be really laid back. I'm going to use craft paints. So let me go over these craft paints. So I've got a bunch of blues here to choose from. And some are Apple Barrel, some are from Michaels. I think Craft Smart is the Michaels brand. And then I've got some reds, just a couple of different reds. One's called Flag Red, one's called True Red. And I'm just gonna kind of see which red I like better. And then I have an antique white, and then I have some greens to choose from, 3 different greens, and a brown called Melted Chocolate. So that's it for the craft paints today. I'm going to show you, so I went to ChatGPT and asked it to pump out an image of a flag with flowers as the blue part of the flag. And it gave me this kind of weird shaped little thing right here. So I'm gonna kind of do my own version of this, and I'm gonna do it on this canvas right here. Gosh, I have to sit way back because it's so huge. It is I think it's an 8.5 by 11 little canvas board. These are pretty inexpensive, the canvas board. But I didn't want to do it in my art journal because I thought if I wanted to display it out in my living room for July 4th, then having it on a canvas board makes it just super easy to display. So I've got everything here set up. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around so you can see. Like I said, feel free to paint along or just watch and paint later if you would like. Okay, I've got to turn the camera around. Okay, there we go. Let's get the camera hung up, and hopefully you can see that okay. Yeah, looks like it's working. Okay, so now I have to fix my laptop again real quick. Sorry people, this laptop, I am telling you what, every time I hang my phone up above the painting desk, it messes up my life. So I don't know why, but I'm gonna go right back into the Creatives Art Studio. There it is. Okay, there. I'm gonna reactivate the live so that I can see. Okay, let's see. Hi, Tanya. Yay, got Sherry and Tanya. Okay, so I put a few little pencil marks to help my eye know where my blue flowers are gonna go. But I'm gonna put in my stripes first. And this is, like I said, this is a kind of a this flag is just very, what's the word? It's not gonna be hard, rigid lines. It's gonna be kind of soft, muted, almost blendy lines. And so therefore, I'm not gonna worry about having perfect lines by any stretch of the imagination. I'm gonna put both reds on my plate. I may end up mixing them, maybe. Woo! There's that one. And this one is called Flag Red. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Flag Red right next to it. And like I said, I may end up mixing the two to get the color that I want. And then let's get our antique white on the page. And I'm going with an antique white just because the flags, when they hang outside, like if it's anything like our flag, they get a little bit aged, weathered, antiqued. I'm gonna go with just this little flat brush. It's, I think, a 1/2 inch flat brush. And I'm just gonna start putting my stripes on. I'm gonna turn my canvas this way just to help kind of get my lines straight. And let's just see if I blend the two of these together, how I like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna start, let's start here at the edge of the blue, and I'm gonna pull down, and then I'll just kind of pull it back. Okay, we've got our very first stripe on here, and let's just keep going. So I'm gonna load up again, just kind of make sure I got plenty of paint. I'm just gonna throw a stripe right here. And let's throw another stripe right here. If you like your stripes to be really nice and perfect and straight and spaced out just right, you could take the time to tape off. Use tape to kind of block off. But I'm just going to throw these stripes on here. Whoops, I need to start pulling the stripe all the way down. So I'm going to pull this stripe all the way down. And I'm going to fatten that up just a little bit. I'm going to scrape that. One of the paints is real old and it's got these yucky things in it. So I'm just going to scrape those off. And same thing, this stripe has to get pulled all the way. Okay. And let's get another stripe down here. I think I'm just going to go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, now I definitely want to wash my brush. I'm going to wash the red out, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this antique white. So let me just really wash that really good, because I do not want pink stripes. I really don't. In fact, I may have to switch brushes because that's not washing out very well, and I don't want to get up and wash it from the sink. So let's start with this. And I'm just going to grab a little tiny bit of water to wet that brush a little bit. I'm going to go right into my antique white, and I'm just going to kind of pull it straight across. Actually, I don't need to pull it into here. I forgot about that. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to kind of pull this antique white right straight across. Let's pull this antique white right straight across. And I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and I'll come back and deal with these stripes when they're a little bit more dry, because I do not want to get them pink like that. I want to actually antique them even more by adding some brown and some other things, but let's see, can I get that? Okay, oops. There's an oops. Oh, let's pull that stripe down here a little bit more. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this way. Okay, and then this, let's just see if I can't just take up some of that, and I can put red right over the top of it later. But I'm gonna let this dry now a little bit. Now I'm gonna move to a different color. Let's get a totally different plate here. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my darkest blue first. So let's go with navy blue. And this is really old paint. So hopefully it's still good. I don't use this color very often. Okay, and I'm also gonna get a round brush. Let's get this round brush right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and lay down the base coat of these, and I'm gonna just keep them like rose shapes. So And they're going to be real smushed together. Some of them are going to be hanging over the lines, and some of them will be smaller. Let's put this dark center in, and let's get a nice big one here. Kind of let that hang out over the red a little bit. I'm just going to wipe that red off. Going to come over here and add a rose there, there, a little one here, little part of one. Let's put a fuller one right here. And again, I'm going to get my centers. And ooh, boy, that's a lot of paint right there. And I gotta get that off so it's not purple, that red. Don't want that red on there because it'll make it purple. Okay, so I've got my centers. Now I'm gonna go into the lighter blue. I think I'll go with 2 blue. So let's rinse my brush here. And I'm gonna get this 2 blue. Okay, just a little bit of 2 blue. I'm gonna go ahead and put some white on my plate. Just a little bit of white to start. And as I grab this 2 blue, now I'm just gonna kind of come in and do some little comma shapes right over the top of that navy blue. And it's because it's so wet, it will blend quite a bit. So I'm trying to have a light touch. Okay, let's put our little commas, comma, 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 right there, comma. And this just is giving kind of another version of blue. A different layer, different tone of blue. And comma, comma, comma. Some of these are just, I'm letting them be real smushed together. Okay, so I've got some of that going on. Let's take a little, I'm gonna go straight into this white, and I'm gonna do, and let's mix that white with the blue that's on my brush. How about that? And get a really nice light blue. And again, just kind of putting some comma shapes in here. And I may need to switch to a smaller brush. So there's more commas, just little rounded comma shapes. And I am letting it blend right now. If I want to put more highlights on later when it's dry, I could. But we'll see. Right now I'm just getting something on there just to give it that rose kind of shape. Okay, now I'm going to go into that really light blue, and I'm just going to pull that light blue into these areas where there's still white canvas showing. Okay, and then I do want to grab some really, really dark, deep navy now. This is deep navy. And I hope it's going to be dark enough, but I want to put in centers that are nice and dark. So let's just dab some of that right in the centers. Okay, so gotta load up the brush a little bit on that one because there was some white on my brush. same with that. I keep getting white in there. So I could come back and add the dark centers when it's a little bit more dry. And let's see, while I've got this dark center going, I may actually just kind of pull some of that dark stuff out and break up some of those comma shapes just a little bit more. Let's pull, there's some red showing through there, so I just kind of want to try to layer some more blue on that. Okay, I'm going to need to let these dry. Okay, there. So next, I got to go back to my, let's see, I got to find a brush that doesn't have, there we go. Found a brush that doesn't have red on it. I'm going to come back to my antique white and I'm going to kind of cover up some of that red striping, that pink striping, or maybe not actually. You know, I originally liked the kind of blurry, kind of faded effect. So I think I'm just gonna allow this to be a little bit blendy in some spots. Like right there is gonna be a little bit blendy. So we're just pulling more antique white over the top of this here. And let's pull some more antique white right here. And I'm going to pull it back over here. And let's get some thicker striping on that one. And a little bit, oh, there's a lot of red on my brush there. Let's just come right up here and pull that across there. Okay, now I do want to go get my red brush that I used for the reds. And let's mix these two together again. Still got the same paint from before. Just going to kind of cover over some of those places where, where the white had kind of really spilled into the red. And maybe I'll even thicken that line up just a little bit right here, that red line. Let's go back into our red. So get the red to come right over the top of that. Okay. And now I am going to pull in a little bit of the, oh, I know what we'll do. I was gonna pull in a little bit of this brown just in a few places, like to kind of blend it in, but I might even wanna wait till this dries more. So let's take just a moment to come back and do our greens. So I'm gonna pull this plate over that has the blues, and I'm gonna put marsh green on my plate. And I definitely want this limeade green. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, Pam. Okay, so here's our limeade. That was a lot. And now I need a little brush, just a little guy. Let's see. That one has some issues. Maybe we'll use this one. Okay, now I wanted to add some little curly cues, like little, you know, I don't know, just curly cues, vine type things. And I'm gonna add it with this dark paint first, and go over it in some places with, and I'm gonna maybe just add a cute little leaf sticking out right there. Why not? We'll just add a couple of leaves. And that has got a bunch of that red on it. So we'll just add a little leaf peeking out right there. Okay, let's put a little leaf over here. And let's do a little curly Q. In fact, let's add another. All right, that curly Q got a little bit crazy. Crazy curly Qs. It's too early in the morning for crazy curly Qs. Not really. Okay, let's put a leaf right here. So just kind of, I'm just having fun. Using up old craft paints that I've had lying around. And this is something that I'm just gonna keep in the house, kind of like a little holiday decor item. So I do not like how this curly Q came out at all. I don't like it at all. Probably gonna paint over that when it's dry. And this one needs a little bit more green because the white got mixed in with it. And let's do a little leaf right here. And I'll probably do another little cute curly Q. Maybe we'll pull it right from here and just let that trail out a little bit. There. Okay, so I'm definitely going to need to come back and fix some of these, but because I'm doing this while it's wet, and I don't want to sit here and wait for it to dry, and I don't have my blow dryer with me. I'm just going to kind of keep moving with what I can. And then I'll have to let it dry and kind of finish off what I want to finish off later. So I'm just adding that limeade. And I'm not even going to mess with that curly Q because I don't like it. I'm going to fix it. In fact, while I've got my brushes still around, I've got my antique white. I am going to pull some antique white on my brush, and I am going to come right over that. And it's probably going to smear it because it's still wet, but that's okay. So that's kind of what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just paint right over this. And I will have to let it dry for sure, but let's grab some red too so you can see that I'm going to paint over that as well. Yep, painting right over. And if I want to put in a little different curly Q later, I will. Okay, now I do want to get just a little bit of brown on my plate. And I might actually get out my, oh, I'm glad you like the curly Qs, Sherry. Might actually get out, I have this little palette knife. Actually, let's get a longer palette knife. All right, I'm going to get this little palette knife thingy, and I'm just going to kind of throw some brown stripes in a few spots. And we're just kind of adding a little dimension, I guess you could say, a little antiquing. In fact, I may kind of antique it by pulling a little brown in just a few spots around the edges. Like I said, my husband and I have a flag that hangs out there, out in our front. And it definitely gets beat up. Oh, goodness. But I kind of like it that way. It's kind of that weathered look, and it's got character, you know? I like both. I like a nice, new, crisp flag, but I also like the ones with the little character to them. So I'm just going to pull in a little bit of striping even inside of the stripes themselves, in just a few places. Yeah, let's see. Like I said, just kind of throwing some paint down today, having fun. I'm gonna use this in my own home decor, so I am not worried about making it look professional or gallery ready. And sometimes you just have to paint for yourself, you know, nobody else. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's see, is that dry? That's not really dry yet. I can still see a nice shine to it. So I'm gonna let that dry before I fix it. Let's turn it around, see how it looks from this angle. And I may even, let's see if I wanna add just a smidgen more of the white with the blue kind of mixed here. Just gonna kind of add like a few little pops in a few spots. Just feels like it needed some more commas in a few places. There, fix that. That was bugging me right there. Okay, I'm gonna leave this alone. Okay, that is it. I will fix this and take a picture of it and upload it in the group later. But I hope that you have fun doing just a quick little fun acrylic painting for your house for the 4th of July. Yep, the rustic look of Old Glory. Yeah, I like the rustic look too. I don't think I've ever painted a flag. Perhaps I'll paint one then. Yes, yes, paint one, Sherry. Go for it. I'd love to see what you do. I'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful week and a very happy 4th of July. Since 4th of July is Friday, I'm not going to go live, but I may pop on, well, I say I'm not going to go live. I might pop on for like a quick little hello and maybe a quick little update from my garden. Boy, it's crazy. My garden is exploding with cucumbers and zucchini and green beans right now. If you were my neighbor, you would be getting plenty of cukes, zucchini, and green beans. But anyway, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all briefly on Friday. Okay, take care.